Do you think someone will ever invent a lip gloss that doesn't, like, get stuff stuck to it? Could we get non-stickable? Hi, what are you doing? Yeah, come here. Ever get lip gloss that doesn't get everything stuck to it? Hi everybody, welcome to the show. Today is episode 142. September finished objects. There's only one. So this month's finished object show and next month's are going to be boring. Because there's only one thing. There will only be one thing to show you next month. What is with whatever? It's going to be hat wearing season pretty soon. Welcome to my knitting channel. I'm not wearing any knitwear today because I just got back from a walk and I was hot and sweaty, and it's later in the day. You can see the sun is over here. Rippy Doo, Cancer dog. Hi, pretty girl. You hear her tail wagging. We had roofers come today. They were supposed to come tomorrow morning, but it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. They're supposed to come tomorrow morning to give an estimate, and they came this early, late morning to give an estimate, and then ended up, I think, going to lunch and coming back and just doing the work. So I cannot record at my original time, and I can't push it back to tomorrow because it's going to rain all day, and I can't record out here because you'll hear the rain on the roof. So, discombobulated. Again, that's my excuse for this show being terrible. Then I wonder why no one watches, because you sit here and tell them your show is terrible. Whatever, it doesn't matter. How are you? I'm awful. How are you doing? Here's the thing. I think I told you last week that I started this new diet. I meant to watch last week's show. I typically rewatch last week's show so I can stay congruent. Is that the word I want? I feel like that's not the right word, but the other word in my head is conflict, and that's definitely not the right word. Consistent. That's the word I'm looking for. So I could stay consistent with what I'm saying and not repeat myself, because we know I get off track with my brain. What was I saying? I was so discombobulated with the whole roofers being here, and I had to corral all the animals in here with me, and it was this big to do. And then I made myself a new breakfast, and it took twice as long to bake because I didn't use a muffin tin. I used a ramekin, which is like twice as big around. So you would think instead of it being 20 minutes, it's going to be like 45 minutes. And then I ate it and I was like, I could have just pan fried the whole thing for how not good it was. There's way too much effort for an egg that's awful. All of this beginning is getting cut, and this is just therapy for me, really. 20 minutes of therapy for me that's going to cut and no one will see ever. So, should we start? I don't know what I'm going to talk to you about today because I have 2 projects and that's all. Okay, first project, Harvest by Tin Can Knits. I wish I had rewatched last week's show to tell you what I thought, because I'm pretty sure I told you I restarted this with different yarn on a different... What was I here? No, because I had to redo this piece like 4 times. So I just finished the raglan sleeves. I just finished the raglan sleeves, and I have been working non-stop pretty much on my test knit. So this, I'm not sure, have I made any progress since last week? I'm pretty sure I did not have the raglans worked out. So I've done 2 rows. Round of applause. Good job. I will say, it looks fantastic on the outside. Like there is a recessed ridge in the center, and I like that more than the ridge that was on the side of how this is originally written, because and you work a provisional, so I think it was supposed to, you weren't supposed to see it, and maybe it would have blocked out, maybe, but I like this because I'm such a perfectionist and perfect, there has to be perfection, and it has to mirror, and I like that there's a seam down the middle of the back. I don't know why I like it, but I do. It helps me keep things even. I also slipped the first stitch on the one side, and it's got a gorgeous, you can't see it, but it has a gorgeous, it's in my recommended viewing playlist, I Knit with Cat Fur. She tells you how to do this. This is my test knit. I lost my stitch marker. I just had to frog some rows because I lost my count when I put this down. I thought I had marked in the pattern where I was, but when I came back I couldn't read my work, and so I frogged back. This is a cowl from Katie DeGraff Knits. I think it's releasing next week, the same day as, God, I gotta get this finished. The same day as Stephen West's MKAL, I think, Thursday. I think that's when this is set to release. I really have to finish. It's going to be a cowl. It is made with 1 strand of DK, and I'm using my hand-dyed merino charcoal, and double-stranded mohair that I dyed this icy, I'm just calling it icy lavender. Oh, there's no stitch marker. I love how this is working up. It's gorgeous. Oh my god, isn't it just gorgeous? These colors together are perfect. This halo is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Look at this halo on this. Look at this. It's freaking crazy. This base is from Wool to Die For, and they have one of the better merinos or better mohairs in my opinion. It's so fluffy. I can't even see. Can you? It's so the halo on this is nuts. I love how these colors are together. It's just so gorgeous. And look at how, oh god, this pattern is really neat. It's really, really fun. It's mosaic knitting. If you are unaware, I want to see the wrong side. One thing my mother, I will say, she really did think I was really good at my arts, and always said that she couldn't tell the front from the back because my backs were just as pretty. And that's one of the things that I've always, even my cross stitches, my cross stitch stuff is so pretty on the back. I love when people show their backs and it's like a rat's nest. I'm like, how did you do that? But even the back side is pretty. But I do love mosaic knitting. And what I would tell you about mosaic knitting is, I hate color work. I hate holding 2 strands at the same time. You don't hold 2 strands at the same time. You work 1 strand back and forth, and then you work the other strand back and forth. So you just drop it and pick it back up. It's so easy, and you get complex crap like this because they use slip stitches. So you don't work all the you will slip some of the stitches, and that's what makes the pattern. And I love whatever she's done here. I just love it. It's one of my favorite mosaic stitches that I've done, and I can see myself using this. It's almost like a honeycomb. It's almost like a honeycomb design. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I love it so much. Like you could play around with how many stitches. It's like a ribbing, so you slip and then work. So you could do like 3 to 1 or 2 and 2. Like you could do anything. It's so neat. And this cowl is going to be gorgeous. And how thick it's so thick, and I feel like this is going to be super warm, and I'm going to love it. And it's so soft. I have to finish. I'm really behind. I need to get going on this. I should be done already. Anyway, the 1st is Monday, right? So I'm sure I'll finish that by the 1st. So that will have been finished. Again, that's upcoming. Miracle Pill by Katie DeGraff Knits. I think next week is our surprise dye project episode. And I will tell you how to make those colors, because I didn't actually mix them. Those are colors from Dharma and ProChem. So it's just what percentage I use. And well, doing anything on mohair isn't going to look the same as done on merino, and anything done on merino isn't going to look the same as something with nylon in it. So we got a lot to talk about next week is all I'm saying. So it's going to be like a 20-minute episode by the time I cut everything out that I talked about, because I'm ridiculous. Our one finished object of the month is our turquoise Sinead. I have not cut the ends off because I think I only wore it like one time because it's been cold. Turquoise Sinead. It looks so different when it's when it's blocked as to when it's not blocked, because it's so tiny. When you're blocked, you're like, how does this fit on you? This is never going to fit you. And then it does, so whatever. This used Universal Yarns Cotton Supreme DK, which I don't know if you've tried to get your hands on it recently, but all the colors everywhere are out of stock. I don't know if they're discontinuing this. If they are, it's awful, because the other regular Cotton Supreme is not DK. They call it worsted, but it's like 181 yards, which means I can't make this pattern. It's gonna be too thick for this pattern. All that work was for nothing. I know that they're out of stock most places because I've been trying to get my hands on 2 skeins of black, which is how I ended up with all these bright colors anyway, is because I was trying to find black and the store was out, so I just bought like 4 colors that I liked. It was turquoise, blue, purple, and pink, and no black, because I already had gray and mint green, which are like all of my favorite colors, I guess. So yeah, I'm a cool palette person, I guess, except for pink, but I tend towards cooler toned pink. In fact, the pink I bought, I believe, is called Holiday Red, and it was pink, like a hot pink, and I was like, are you sure this is the right color? Because this is pink. Every other color I've gotten has been, because I think they also have a magenta, and that's what I would have expected if it was called magenta. From what I remember, this is just called turquoise. Oh, my neighbors came back. Did I tell you? My neighbors came back last weekend, I think they came back. Don't know where they were. No idea. But they're back. Their dog's back in the window. Love it. Anyway, this is like 51 minutes. I know I'm cutting about 20 minutes of this. So since I'm going to cut out a good portion of my diet, I'll talk to you about it here. So last week. Oh, what did I say? Next week is probably going to be a surprise dye project. I also have a couple open spots, so if you want to recommend a topic for me to dive into, please leave a comment, because I think I have 2 shows this year that don't have topic that are coming up. And one of them I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about test knitting and what you need to be a test knitter. And another one, I'd like to show you my stash, because I keep threatening to do that and then I don't. And Nitty Natty inspired me with her working through her whole stash. What the heck was that, ma'am? Excuse me. I can't believe how she worked down her stash. It's freaking crazy. I haven't kept up with her lately. I don't know. I'm thinking the last time I saw her, I watched her, she was, I think it was the end of her stash. Down a few months. Have not kept up. I've been busy this summer, guys. So, you can see Bree. Oh, she walked right by. Anyway. What was I talking about? Oh, Nitty. Yeah, you should watch her. She's hilarious. What was it? I'm trying to think of. I think she was doing a stash blanket. I can't remember. But watching her work down her stash was so annoying. Jealousy, provoking. I was like, oh my God, that must be amazing to just be. Can you remember back to when you started knitting, and you actually went I probably went to Joann's to get some Red Heart or some Karen Simply Soft, right? When I first started, when I was 13, 30 some years ago. I'm trying to think if we even had it. We didn't have Walmart then. Do we have Joann's then? I don't even remember. One of my mom's friends taught me to knit with a book, which I've shown you the book because the cover fell off. It had to be. I don't know if the Joann's was here or if it was, because where our Joann's is right now used to be a mini mall, and when I moved here it was a mini mall, and I'm not sure where the Joann's was at that point. Or when the Packatan, because the Packatans is gone, but we used to have Packatans. It doesn't matter. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh, if you could go back to when you first started and you were buying your yarn per project. Could you imagine if you did that now? Could you imagine? I can't even imagine. Do you know how much stash? You guys, I seriously must have at least 1,000 skeins in this house. At least 1,000. And I'm including my undyed yarn in that. I have to have at least 1,000. I bet you at least. I'm not even sure I can count to 1,000, to be honest. I don't like counting to 100 when I'm counting stitches. If it's 200 stitches, nah, I'm not counting. I'm not sure I have the patience to count to 1,000. But I have a lot of yarn that I'm never going to, there's no way I can use it all up. And I really want to start working through my set. I'm so excited for, I do have goals for next year planned, and this entire thing is going to be flipped on its head. There is so many changes coming that I've already decided on, but I'm not telling you until that episode, and that episode's not till December, so whatever. Gonna have to wait. But yeah, I've made some decisions around here. Heads are gonna roll. Just kidding. Sometimes my inner Kacho comes out and I can't. What was I talking about? I don't know. If you're in the U.S., our government is about to shut down. Everyone's freaking out. If you are a federal worker, I am really crossing my fingers for you. My foster has been here for 4 months. He's never leaving. Hi. How you doing? You can't see, but he is furiously wagging his tail. Hi, sweetheart. How you doing? Are you having a good day? No. No. Look at your snaggletooth. You're so cute. You're such a cutie. You're such a cutie. Hi, hi, hi. Hi, hi, hi. Drive me crazy. When are you gonna leave? When are you gonna leave this house? When are you leaving? Never. Are you never leaving? No one wants you. Look at your spotty face. Nobody wants you. Old man. You old man. You're such a good boy. Okay. Alright, this is probably going to be a short episode. I'm going to cut a lot of crap out of here. I was going to talk to you about my diet, but I'm not. I will say this, because I'm pretty sure I did mention the diet last week. I haven't had any symptoms still. Being on the diet, but that doesn't necessarily mean it kind of does mean something, but it does. I'm like so not wanting this diet to work, and I don't know why. I do know why, because it's full of meat, and I don't like eating meat. It's not just because I love animals, because I agree, I love animals. I love dogs. I know some people eat dog, but I don't like to eat animals, and it's not just because I think all animals deserve to not be eaten. I don't like the taste, and I don't like the texture, which is why I don't eat a lot of things. I am a texture taste person, along with I have food issues from growing up, as I'm sure most women do. Mine was not due to size or anything like that. It was literal, hey, come here. Being stressed out during meals, because my house was very stressful growing up. My father was a drunk, and my mother never did anything. She never protected us. She never comforted us. She was neglectful, let's say that. We were one of those families, from the outside everything looked fine, and we were very well behaved in public, because we'd get crap when we got home if we weren't. But I don't think we knew how bad we had it at the time. Like, I did not know that there was anything wrong with how my family was. I just thought that's how everybody's family was. So I grew up in a very high stressed environment. So eating still is very hard for me, and I have to be distracted when I'm eating to be comfortable. And with this diet, I have to pay attention to everything I eat, and I have to make sure when I eat and what I eat and all of this. And so the diet itself is stressing me out, which will be fine once we figure out meals I can have and when I need to have them. My husband is great. He's the cook. I don't cook. I wasn't allowed in the kitchen when my mother was cooking. We weren't taught any of that. And I could learn, but because I have such bad food issues, it's best if I don't. It's best if I just don't, because then I will focus on if the food's been handled properly, if it's cooked enough at the right temp. I get over enthusiastic about it. Let's say that my perfectionism does not end with my knitting. It is in everything that I do. So like when I was getting my paralegal degree, school was my main focus. I did not focus on anything but school for semesters at a time. Like I'm not even kidding you. Everything was focused on. I get hyper focused. I guess is the right term. I get hyper focused. So all of my focus is on food right now, which is not good for my mental health at all. I can't even tell you how hard of a time I'm having right now. But once we have, if this diet's going to work, and I'm coming up on 2 weeks, I'm gonna go a full month because in the last 5 years, I've gone 1 month with no symptoms. I can't even say no symptoms, just symptoms not bad enough to put me in bed all day, which I typically have bad symptoms every other week. So every 2 weeks, I'm in bed for 1 day at least, not sleeping for 1 night every other week because the symptoms are so painful. So I have not had any of that in 2 weeks. There's no wood to knock on plastic. Paper. That's close to wood, right? Wood pulp. So it's been hard to stay on the diet because I know I'm not eating enough because it's all meat, and I hate meat and eggs, and I hate eggs, and mayonnaise, and I hate mayonnaise. But you know what my favorite thing to eat right now is chicken salad. Because I can put celery in it. And I can have spinach is pretty much like the one vegetable I can eat with abandon is spinach. Eating lots of spinach. It's a hard diet to keep, but it's not really an elimination diet. It's more of trying to heal your gut, trying to heal a possible bacteria overgrowth in your intestines, which makes sense to me because there's lots of bacteria in your body that have to stay in balance. And if the diet works for me, which it seems to be doing so far, like I said, the only symptoms I've had have been IBS symptoms, which could be from something I do take. A medication, an over-the-counter medication that I do take that gives me symptoms similar to IBS. So I'm not sure if it's IBS or symptoms from this medication. And I cannot come off the medication just yet. But the few symptoms I've had, none of them have been in my esophagus. I'm not sure if it's IBS or because of the medication. So I'm not really counting that as a symptom. I'm more counting any of my esophagus stuff as symptoms. I have had some trouble swallowing, but because it hasn't been all day, it's just been sometimes. And it's early on. It seems to happen when I eat chicken, and I don't know if it's myself reflux because I hate chicken. But it's the only meat I can eat that I will eat is chicken. Even though chickens are adorable and I hate eating them. But it's the texture and taste isn't as horrible to me as everything else. I have been enjoying chicken salad, which is weird because I hate mayonnaise. So you have to put enough mustard in it. And you can't use regular mustard. You can only use Dijon mustard. So I have to put enough Dijon mustard in it. And I don't like spicy stuff, so it is a delicate balance. And my husband, like I said, is doing an amazing job at helping me prepare and getting stuff that I can eat. I'm just surprised because I did not think a diet was my problem. I'm not sure what I thought my problem was, since all the doctors were like, you're fine, all your tests are negative, nothing's wrong. And I'm like, well, something's obviously wrong. That if it's diet, that is ridiculous to me. Well, technically not diet, it's overgrowth of bacteria. So if I can keep my bacteria in check, and I think you can add some foods back and figure out what your trigger foods are. And I don't know what mine are, but they better not be bread because I'm going to be mad. And I don't have gluten sensitivities. I already know that. I'm not sure I have wheat sensitivities. I'm not sure how, now they're saying that those food sensitivity blood tests aren't even accurate. So I don't even know how to tell. I know I can't have dairy. I know for sure I cannot have dairy. But I really don't want to have to give up. I don't think I have a gluten. It's I think this is all wrapped up in my IBS, which has been a problem for like my whole life. So I'm just amazed I'm not having symptoms. That's just weird for 5 years. I'm enjoying not having symptoms, but I'm still not sleeping. So like, I don't know how much, maybe I'm expecting too much in 2 weeks. Take the win. Take the win. Take the win. Oh, another thing we're going to try, I think, is, I've told you before, this channel is linked to another YouTuber that does swimsuit try-ons and whatnot. And I don't know if cutting my hair will help unhook me from her. I think we're going to change the thumbnails. And instead of my face being in the thumbnails, we'll do something else. I don't know what. I don't know what we'll do. Not sure. Pretty sure I'm going to hold up a bag at the end of this to just get a shot of the bag. I'm going to try to not have my face in the thumbnails and see if that will do it. That might help. I don't know. Okay, I'm getting out of here because I'm losing daylight and it's 5 o'clock and I should have been done with this by like 2 at the latest. So I'll see you next week for a not so surprise dye project. Because that, yeah, my testnet's going to have to be done by then. If it's not, I'm in big trouble. So I'll go get on the last piece of that because I got to join it in the round and finish it up. So, yeah, I guess I'll see you next week. Okay. Take care of yourselves. Bye.